write a better script than this. Europe versus North America. The crowd's gonna tell you all you need to know about this series as we're underway.
G2 fought to get here earlier today. They look solid, and they're already off to a hot start. How can KCorp slow them down?
It's gonna be so important to make somebody other than Vatira beat you. The problem is they've got two others that can. It's Chicago leading the charge now though. Drop down in front. JNAPS couldn't get to it. And they beat Atomic. It's wide open and Vatira scores!
The consistency is always going to be there for KCorp. G2 has to be effective when they're in that blue half. The counterattack is clean. And there's a pause there as well.
The script just keeps getting longer as we have a pause here just under 30. Let's get some noise going up in here. We are back underway in game one.
Goal stands starts back where we left off, right off the kickoff. So now teams just having to get back locked in. So plenty of Rocket League to play, plenty of time here to see if G2 can muster up some offense of their own.
KCorp with all the momentum, even with that lengthy pause. Gonna be on G2 to rip it back away from them. JNAPS gave it away. Here's Vatira. Chicago put the brakes on, had to avoid contact, and makes the stop. Now Itachi to center, and Atomic right there waiting for it. G2 will repel KCorp briefly, but it's Vatira again looking for Itachi, instead finding JNAPS in his way, and Atomic's got to scramble to the opposite corner to try and keep possession alive. But KCorp send them packing yet again, only as far as the center line, and Exotic giving one away. JNAPS, Chicago, it's wide, follow from Atomic, ties the game.
1, 2, 3, look at this. The passing from G2 coming out well, and Atomic with the speed to the top left corner. G2 bring themselves back into game one.
We wondered when that answer would come from G2. Answer immediately now, Chicago trying to dance around Vatira, tried to slow him up a little bit, and Vatira was not phased one bit. He's waiting at midfield now, waiting for his opportunity to pounce. Itachi's brought one in. Vatira diving into the corner, and he'll get that steal from JNAPS. Atomic leaves that for Chicago. And nobody going after that corner boost is going to be available for a steal. Itachi's got it. Across it goes, and this is bombed downfield. JNAPS is there, but so is Vatira.
Haven't been able to get there. Now, G2 just trying to work to maintain rotation. KCorp starting to pick up the pace here. It's like one of the last two challenges. Atomic sitting in that last back spot. Here's Vatira. Puts it into midfield. Exotic stuff forward, gets it through, but JNAPS able to get on that back wall in time.
It's Itachi again. We saw a brilliant flip reset yesterday, and he almost delivered another with an assist. Now Vatira and Itachi both there. Itachi, the shot, it's blocked, and he's still on this in the corner. Just trying to burn time off the clock here. Still in a tie game, but all this possession greatly favoring KCorp. Dangerous! And Itachi! How did he stay with it?
Look at this from Itachi. Goes up for this point. See, Chicago stays on top of the ball. Does not give JNAPS a chance to clear it through. It's that extra effort. Itachi stepping up, bringing KCorp into the lead.
Often get the question, hey, who's your favorite team? Who's your favorite player? Itachi, absolutely. One of my favorite players to watch as Vatira makes the save. Itachi, the clearance, and Chicago's got to race downfield. In a tough spot, what a read with Vatira bearing down on him. Itachi now across to the wing, and Atomic trying to get rid of attackers coming in. Vatira again got this down to ground, and G2 having a real tough time keeping this ball away from KCorp in their own end.
Oh, chance there, oh, it's blocked away. Ball going to go towards JNAPS. Look at Vatira, just getting on top of that ball so quickly. They want G2 to be as uncomfortable as possible, and they're doing a good job of making it happen, even if they got to bump into each other. Here's Itachi, trying to get this center. Chicago will put it into space, but there's Vatira. Good first touch, good second touch. Does he have the boost? Got the 50 on that as well. And that's going to be big for KCorp. They're able to keep up the possession and keep this ball in the zone. That's going to be a high one. Chicago will be up to meet it.
G2 just trying to keep some possession of their own at this point. just so they don't get overwhelmed by KCorp. But they're getting smothered. A double tap. Vatira doubles the lead.
You can try to stop the whole team, but you got to keep your eyes on this man. Sets up the double, knocks it down. No one home from G2.
The color is blue for sure. 109 remains in game one. KCorp all over G2, but still a boatload of time remaining. JNaps couldn't get cleanly onto this. Atomic had it blocked away as well. Chicago's got to dive up now. Got this central, but nobody else is there. Exotic couldn't stop Atomic from centering, and JNaps had his shot blocked away. G2 are at least getting looks, but they're few and far between, and they're being forced to greatly value those opportunities because they're not getting nearly enough. JNaps diving in, and they just couldn't get there.
Chicago wanted to keep that in play, but G2 are not going to be able to hold on to this ball. And even you saw a little bit of a pre-jump there from Atomic. It's like they know where they want to be, but they just don't have the read. Exotic leaves that on the back wall. Tough spot for Atomic, but he is able to clear it away to Chicago. Maybe if they could get this play to work with some time on the clock, they can come out with something. 15 seconds remaining.
All these attacks, they look creative out of G2. Opportunity now, in front and blocked away. Chicago wasn't going to get it quite on target anyways, and the final few seconds will tick off the clock. KCorp strikes first, they strike often, and Vatira leads KC to a game one dub.
Yes, he did. 2 goals from Vatira out of 5 shots. Itachi with the other goal, and Exotic with every single assist. This is a full team effort coming out of KCorp. They are showing G2 why they have been such a threat in Europe. G2 Army is going to have some adjustments here if they want to be able to get back into this. We've seen signs of life, though. The pressure does pay off, but we've got to get the shooting a little bit on the mark here, a little bit more for G2.
Yeah, 9 shots out of G2, only 5 required saves, and they only got 1 in the net. So that tells you all you need to know about the accuracy for G2. It has to be better. It is a much longer series, and of course, the possibility of a timeout exists on top of what we had in the middle of game one there. So again, best of 7, 1-0 to KCorp with Vatira leading the way. It's exactly what we said, though, was the key for G2. That cannot happen. Somebody else has to lead the charge. At this point, though, it almost feels like pick your poison.
Yeah, which one is going to be that player? Who's going to be able to step up and shut down KCorp? But you're going to have to shut down them all because everybody is looking to make that impact. Game 2, it's adjustment time for G2 Esports. Let's see what they got in store.
We can see a name on stage from our perspective that is quite capable of doing just that in Stathier, the coach of G2. He's got to orchestrate a plan to get his squad back in it as Vatira's afforded a shot from the wing. It's blocked away, and now Exotic taking his time, waiting for Itachi. There he is. That goes wide, trying to draw the defense out. It's still there. Bank is off the mark, and Atomic makes sure there's no more rebound. Now out to Exotic again, though. Exotic to ground, nothing there. Chicago through Vatira. Atomic getting physical as well, but forced to play that ball past JNaps, and now he's forced into action defensively, and G2 can finally break out of the zone. Atomic to thread the needle, and Exotic says no.
Gotta see Atomic get more enabled here. He's the one who can cut down through the strongest defenses. But it's been kind of quiet on the side of G2. KCorp surging, though. They look for a way in. JNaps on top of the ball, looking to grab that. Instead, we'll leave it to Exotic. Atomic plays off the sidewall, a little bit awkward. Exotic went for a bump on Chicago. It's a clear downfield. JNaps will try to slow down the push, but what I'm seeing from KCorp, even if you're off ball, any type of play you can make, you make that play.
It's going to be so weird looking back at this at the end of the season and seeing that G2 and KCorp was a quarterfinal. Atomic out to JNaps. Shots high. Another one of those that's kind of near the mark, but not quite. Doesn't require a whole lot of work defensively. G2 needs to be a lot closer. Atomic, powerful down to midfield. Again, brought back in. Not getting a whole lot of time outside of their defensive half. Vatira coming on. It's wide, no follow-up.
That's up quick. Let's see what Atomic can do. Just goes for that shot. Exotic will be able to get the save. but no one able to reach that on the sidewall, and KCorp will push up strong. Vatira trying to get it through, but it's Atomic with the stop.
Thought he was gonna have another one. Now Atomic to the backboard. Chicago and JNAP's both there, neither can convert. And now watch out the other way.
Whoa.
Atomic diving in. A bold play and a necessary one at that. Itachi denied by JNAP's and G2 trying to weather the storm again. They get a brief reprieve here with Atomic taking charge and Chicago breaching the center line.
G2 have just barely been able to make it back with some of these defensive stops. They've got to clean it up. There has not been consistent offensive pressure. They've only gotten one shot on it. We thought that one would have been another one from JNAP's, but again, it just goes to show you KCorp is there to stop them as much as they can.
It's Atomic trying to get a second touch on the wall, and Itachi disrupts him. He'll just guy that into the zone. More dump and chase strategy, and more possession for KCorp on the other side. Atomic trying to get in front of Itachi's clearance. Can he do it all himself? No, JNAP's is in the way.
Ooh, still awkward though from Chicago. Exotic wanted to see if he could pick a pocket there. Demo on the back end. Atomic, what's he gonna do? Gets that flip reset. JNAP's still trying to put the pressure on. It's rolling towards the net, but it will be sent towards that sidewall. G2 getting closer and closer. They are trying to put it on KCorp, but the wall has been holding firm.
Unfortunately, close only counts in horseshoes. They've got to get one into the net. Vatira, well wide, dealt with by Atomic, and further back downfield. That puts Exotic in a tough spot. G2 starting to get even closer, but still nothing in the net as Exotic is there ahead of Chicago. Here comes Itachi, here comes all of KCorp. Vatira stuffed by Atomic. May have another look from the corner though. Exotic waiting for a pass that's never gonna get there.
Oh, JNAP's good beat on one. Slows things down for Itachi. Can Chicago get there for the 50? He can. Maybe a press here. Atomic places off the back wall. Chicago's up in the air, tries to put the shot on. Vatira able to make that save. They've been elevating more offensively. They are tied with KCorp at shots. Both teams have 4 apiece. 40 seconds remaining in game 2, and it has been a stalemate.
Vatira always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Here goes Exotic, denied by JNAP's. Now 30 seconds remain in game 2. KCorp was all over G2 in the opener with 3 goals, but nothing so far. Vatira out to the wing. Exotic's got a full tank of boost, trying to go to work.
Oh, JNAP's looking to get to that one quick. This one into the corner. Atomic gets it out. Final 10 seconds. Chicago in the back and sends it over to the corner. This one will roll down. Can G2 make one last play? They're trying to, but the ball will hit the ground, and we have overtime.
The first of probably many in this series. Atomic. Maybe that reset was exactly what everybody needed to get a clean look at the other's net. Vatira to the backboard, dealt with by Chicago. Atomic was also there, so Chicago burned a lot of boost, where Atomic might have had it all sized up.
Who's gonna make that play? G2 definitely have adapted from game 1. They've obviously stopped the bleeding. They've been playing car to car, so to speak, with KCorp, and it's been close. But what's gonna break through? That one almost did. Vatira with the stop. G2 trying to keep up this offensive pressure.
Boy, Itachi had to jump on that, expecting an attacker coming on, but nobody was. And now it's bounced away again by KCorp. Vatira chasing. First minute of overtime about to come to a close unless Exotic's got other plans. Now Itachi, wave dash to try and get onto that, and he got a piece, but it's brought back in by Vatira. Every little move under a microscope now. That is dangerous from JNAP, but it works out okay. Chicago dropping that off to Atomic worked out better than maybe he had intended.
Oh,
Chicago!
Not enough. Exotic clears it across. JNAP is there, so is Vatira. Vatira on the ball. Flick past one. Chicago will stop it. Back into that midfield we go. Exotic gonna win! It's in! KCorp takes game 2!
Exotic, the table setter all through game 1. Give me some of that in game 2. Atomic with the turn, thought he had more time than he did, and then all of a sudden, Exotic put it in his net, and KCorp are halfway home.
And a big overtime win as well. where G2 was starting to get that offense set, looking to break out. They even out-demoed KCorp 5-1, but that still was not enough. That being said, even with this win from KCorp, this series not necessarily all decided just yet. That was a very close game when G2 could have had plenty of opportunities to take it.
The G2 faithful are rallying here as we look back at the Mobile One high performance replay. Not a lot of goals to go around, just that one from Exotic, but you see the emotion as G2 has taken its timeout here after an overtime win for KCorp in Game 2. Exotic, that overtime winner, his first goal of the series to go with 3 assists, the playmaker in game number 1. And the task again falls to Sathu and G2 to find an answer. The puzzle is there in front of them, but so far, they have not been able to crack through the blue wall.
Yeah, they've been trying to match that consistency that we've seen from KCorp, but also they have to get things together and kind of set up their players. JNAPS only had 1 shot that last game. We know how efficient JNAPS is as a striker, but for him to not be able to get that many opportunities on the ball is a problem within itself. G2 played a much closer game, but it was also very shaky at times. There were times where the counterattack from KCorp would come through, and then you would, next thing you know, you would have to adjust and scramble to get back to make saves in time. We'll see if this timeout really proves G2's test, if strength and mettle. If there's anyone who can get him back into the game, it is Sathu, though.
There's only so much that a coach can do. Obviously, you can tell them, hey, hit the ball, score a goal, do something. Ultimately, it's on the players to do it. There would be nothing more that could potentially raise the spirits of these G2 faithful than a very early goal here in Game 3.
People are getting set. G2 slowing things down. But for KCorp, it's about continuing to stay in pace, stay in control. Everything you've been doing has been working. Exotic and Itachi look fantastic. And of course, that man on the ball there, Batira, when you see him in the air with the ball on a solo play, you better watch out. How will G2 respond off the timeout? Game 3 is starting.
Not exactly inspiring a lot of confidence there as Atomic had a tough go of it on the wall. G2 need to right the ship sooner rather than later. Exotic denied by JNAPS diving in. Batira avoids contact.
Oh, he got that!
With this play, Bouncer is not through! And JNAPS there to save the day again.
Oh my goodness. It was so threatening from Batira. G2's defense looked fantastic to get a stop. What does the offense look like? A demo to set up a lane here. JNAPS has to get past Batira. Does. Got the flick over. Exotic needs to make a touch here. Does. And will push it back into midfield. G2 can still keep this ball in play as they look to set up some consistent offense.
Every second that goes by, every clearance back onto the G2 half of the field just adds more doubt. Gotta have one here, it's high. Follow-up is also high, and Batira sweeps it out to the wing as well. It's Batira bringing it across all the way to the back wall of G2, and Itachi stayed grounded, realizing Chicago had him beat all the way. Now JNAPS, very patient, tried to thread the needle, got it back down the front. Atomic, and G2 has its first lead.
That's what we were looking for from G2. Atomic, great ability to get on top of that play, saw the extra touch. KCorp a little bit stunned there, and Atomic took advantage, shot to the top left. G2 in the lead.
Better late than never, G2 fans will take it. Now can they add more? Or does Batira and KCorp have a quick response of their own? Batira's coming in, and Chicago got it through. Played up and away to the corner. It's Chicago again. Everybody waiting patiently. Now JNAPS, he'll break formation into the zone. Got a man across, but couldn't hit him. Chicago still waiting. Atomic denied by Itachi. They won't get out of the zone. G2 starting to maybe turn things around, but now KCorp They got onto the orange half. Itachi blocked by Chicago. No centering pass. Here comes G2 again.
Well, what can Chicago do? Looking for Atomic. Atomic turns off of it. Good fake challenge there to get that possession. G2 not going all in on offense. JNAS will put a shot on. That one is dangerous. KCorp trying to recover. Batira will push it downfield, pushes through Chicago. Atomic in danger. He needs to recover. He can't! And Itachi will get the equalizer.
He just had no idea when and where that shot was coming from. You saw the wave dash to try and get up the wall quick. He was very awkward coming off. And Itachi had everything to shoot at to tie the game.
The way that they have been able to just set up, I mean, Batira, they were in just such a close situation. G2 trying to strike back. Need a little bit more work. What does Chicago have here? They send all the way across, but Atomic and JNAPS are back. They pass it out. Play this off the back wall. Big miss though from Exotic, and Batira has to come through and bail him out.
Oh, good clearance out of Chicago, trying to hit JNAPS in stride downfield. Only Exotic. Chicago's there! Reed Curry strikes!
And G2 hitting back fast here on the break. Look at this, great 50 from JNAPS. And Itachi rotated it back too little too late. He's got to be a bit faster. G2 in the lead.
Just inside 2 minutes. The best we've seen out of G2 here in this quarterfinal. Drop down to Batira, though the Grim Reaper just missed high. And Atomic's downfield to the corner, double no! And Chicago denied as well as Exotic in his way. Itachi had to jump in a real hurry with G2 starting to get a little more aggressive.
Exotic trying to get that mid to Batira. Good cut from Chicago. Wants to stay on top of this ball. Gets the flip reset, and Itachi up so quickly. He's gonna need to elevate himself a little bit more to bring KCorp back into this with a minute 19 left in game 3, and G2 got everything going for him.
Very little time to actually think. It's all about reading and reacting, and Atomic reacts faster than all of KCorp, and G2 turning the tables.
Atomic sets it up, follows it, and if you won't put a hand up, he'll put it in the back of your net. G2 off the timeout are taking it to KCorp.
3-1 was the scoreline for KCorp in game 1. G2 looking to make all of it up here. JNAPS around Batira. Final minute now on DFH with G2 finally fighting back. Maybe reminding KCorp that this is indeed a very long series now. Just our second best of 7 of the event. High bouncer from Chicago, easily dealt with by Itachi. KCorp's got to get on the move here. Inside 40 seconds. Itachi for Exotic denied. And now Batira up to the skies. Try and dive down on one, and Atomic swats it away.
30 seconds remaining. G2 starting to surge. There's JNAPS looking for the follow. Oh, just off target. Atomic still on this ball. And G2 now just playing it safe, playing it back towards each other. What an adjustment from them. They went from being down in this scoreline, down in a close game 2, and now they have put this one to bed. Game 3 is theirs, and they may even be back in the series. G2 take the game.
This team lives by a motto. Down, but never out. And certainly not out here. Down 2-1 in the series. After they get one back, they answer back the 3-1 victory from KCorp in game 1. And I think everybody, especially KCorp, knew it was never going to be easy. They were never just going to come in here and walk all over G2. G2 was going to put up a fight. This is that moment. And they've got a partisan crowd here to rally them as we get ready for game 4.
Speaking of which, take a look at some of these highlights from the Mobile 1 high performance replay. And this was G2 playing a high performance. Like, that faith just being there was something that was so well done. You take a look at the stats as well. 3 shots apiece from everybody. JNAPS getting a little bit more on the ball. But now G2 have a big game 4 coming up. I gotta ask the G2 fans, It's G2 taking game 4.
Sounds like they're starting to believe here. A lot of G2 faithful in San Diego as we get set for Utopia, game number 4 in our final match of the day.
Tachi already off to a start there, forcing Atomic. Wait, hold on, that's the wrong rule 1. JNAPS and Atomic kind of got a little stuck up on each other there at that initial kickoff. Would have been a great start for KCorp, but G2 now still with the ball. Here's Exotic looking for the double. Found the angle! Talk about elevation, Exotic!
You watch this and you go, look, if he can hit it, he can have it. Well, he can, and he did. 1-0 to KCorp with an exclamation point.
And if he starts popping off, it's going to be exclamation point help on the other side.
Make somebody else beat you. Well, Exotic can. So can this guy, Itachi. Oh! Between Itachi and Exotic, everybody but Vatira involved.
Look at this. Exotic lines it up. Straight down to Itachi. What a follow through on that.
Take note, rest of the field. That's what you've got to contend with if you want to lift a trophy tomorrow, perhaps. Atomic to the wing. Second touch, nothing there. And Itachi just barely around JNAPS and KCorp looking to seize back control of this series. Vatira, up he goes, and it's denied by JNAPS.
JNAPS to the midfield. Atomic not going to be able to make contact in Chicago on the ball. Plays this low, trying to get the flick, and Vatira denied on the goal line.
That's a well set up play too by G2. They had KCorp guessing the entire time. Chicago called his number. Did not pan out for G2. Now Atomic just ahead of Vatira. Here comes Itachi, weaving his way through and bullying his way through.
It's been all Exotic and Itachi on these goals here, Stacks. Sees JNAP, says, line this up for me. Pitch to the top right corner.
There was a lot of energy in this building, and now it's all been confined to one corner with a lot of blue bricks. 3-0 the lead for the Blue Wall KCorp. Boy, it just, every 50 seems to just barely slip by an oncoming G2 attacker. Exotic just ahead of the play, and Exotic will finish the job himself.
2 for 2 is Exotic. Itachi with the pass. This one off the post. Don't worry, he's gonna pick that one up right back into it. And G2 have been quiet this game. 1 shot, 3 saves. And that's been it. They've given up 4 goals. KCorp are 4 for 6 as a team.
Unreal. Exotic, as you mentioned, 2 for 2 with an assist as well. What hasn't he done? Have they added another? No, it's just wide. But Atomic's giving this away to the absolute wrong person. Vatira got him started. Exotic coming in. I mean, look how far up KCorp is now. They've just thrown caution to the wind. They've got a 4-goal lead. They just don't care.
That one gets through, but no one there for G2 to punish. And Atomic will in something. There's still a lot of time if G2 can start to surge here. But how do you do so against the wall so tall? They're trying almost that pre-jump pass. Just could not connect. Atomic will play this high. JNA's so far back into that midfield. And they'll be able to come in, but need a little bit more than that. As the time is not on their side halfway through the game. Off the back wall, Atomic, no! Chicago, can he stay with this? Vatira's got it all game!
Vatira flexing, got the bump as well, and Atomic there to stop the nonsense, but it is still KCorp. Well, a charge, and Vatira stopped that as well. Nothing going G2's way as the blue wall continues to frustrate the North Americans.
Man, how do you get back up from this if you're G2? 2 minutes to go. KCorp been playing this from their own half. You see the musty from Vatira come out, but that one's a little bit off target. All KCorp have to do is control the pace, but you can see Vatira, he's hunting. He's looking for more.
I think if you let him, Vatira would beat every team 10-0. He is that fierce a competitor. It's Atomic hard to the backboard, hoping anybody from G2 can get forward. Nobody can. And still no offense. Chicago couldn't force one through. Atomic, soft floater. Chicago with the bump. Tried to drop it down. Atomic is there, but not in position to score. And finally swept away by Vatira. KCorp, almost like they're just waiting for G2 to at least have a semblance of hope before they rip it away again.
Chicago sitting there over on the side. Couldn't get the read on the Exotic's touch. JNAP gets some control on this one, but only for a moment. Exotic to Vatira. Vatira off the ceiling. 1 minute remaining. G2 down by 4. Things have slowed down here on Utopia, but if you're KCorp, you're perfectly fine with it.
G2 played the last match of the day in this very building yesterday and suffered a disappointing defeat to FaZe Clan, who will play in tomorrow's quarterfinals. The only question is, will G2 still be in the tournament when they do? Chicago gets one with 32 seconds remaining. We've seen stranger things, but a lot has to go G2's way here.
Atomic just trying to follow this one, wants to play the 50. It rolls right in off of the missed touch on that back wall. G2 do pick up 1 goal here, but like you said, they're gonna need some work and some kickoffs to work their way.
Well, Itachi bringing more pressure, and Exotic there as well. Vatira, a little late to the party. He will block this at midfield, and with that, pretty much any hope of a G2 miracle comeback has been extinguished. That one goes off the back wall. Itachi will bring it across, and more possession for KCorp as the final countdown will come across. KCorp 3, G2 1. No more timeouts, no more lives. It is do or die now for the North Americans, lest KCorp will make their way into Championship Sunday.
And you gotta talk about it. That game 4 was the Exotic and Itachi show. And there are people who have wanted to see more. That's what they always say, I need to see more. Are you entertained? Match point situation here. G2, backs against the wall. We gotta see something from them, otherwise they will be sent home here.
Well, there again, a lot of noise being made in exactly one corner of this arena as we look back at what was a dominant performance out of KCorp. 4-1 as they dismantle G2. Could 4-1 be the series score at the end of the next 5 minutes? Again, no more timeout. G2 got a win in game 3 after using their timeout, following an overtime winner from Exotic. That was his first goal of the series, and since then, all he's done is add 2 more and a couple of assists. All the effort put in by Exotic and Itachi is why you do not overlook this team. Now, on to Wasteland. Do or die for G2. If you're gonna rally them, San Diego, you gotta do it now. Here we go.
Let's see what they got. How will G2 start this one off? Looks like KCorp gonna take a little bit of control here. Vatira's looking for a bump on Chicago, won't be able to get that. Exotic now, good control. KCorp is setting up on the side, and G2's in, but a little bit of space given here. And now they'll try to contest for that midfield. Vatira though, good touch to set up Itachi. Itachi's lining up for the double. He's trying to finish it, but it wasn't on target. JNAP's now with the clearance downfield. Atomic wants to get on top of that too, but KCorp set back, and they've been able to reset to stop the count.
Thousands here waiting with bated breath, waiting for G2 to give them a reason to come unglued. But again, Vatira bringing one in. Itachi and Exotic both starting to dive in as well. That caught a ricochet, and Vatira finishes the job.
Check this one again, light touch out. JNAP's trying to get the clear. Exotic last man doesn't care, goes for the challenge, lines it up, and Vatira will knock it down.
The first minute of most of these games have been all KCorp. This one no different. JNAP's trying to get past Vatira, not happening. Chicago taking a wide berth around. Exotic for Itachi, and it rings off the crossbar. G2 scratch another life off.
Ooh, pre-jump there from Exotic, knew exactly what JNaps was doing with it. Good clearance, but only for a moment. As Matera stops that in the midfield. Atomic, though, has the speed, trying to go off to the ceiling, looking for a second touch or a bump or something. Can't get anything. Now, KCorp just trying to control this space, see if they can get out of their own zone. G2 challenging in the air. They haven't necessarily been able to keep up and set themselves up for anything going offensive.
Chicago.
Oh,
trying to do it himself. How about this one from the heavens?
They need someone to come alive, and Chicago does. You better watch out. Look at that flip. The read there. Unbelievable from Chicago. G2 tied things up, 3:12 on the clock.
Have G2 and Chicago in particular saved their best for last here on this final match on Saturday. Itachi got that away. It's Exotic with Vatira waiting in front, waiting to pounce, and he never does here. So now Chicago up ahead. JNaps off the backboard. Oh, a missed opportunity there from JNaps. Now back the other way.
Oh!
Denied by Atomic.
That was so close. Exotic was trying to line that up. Itachi now with the shot. Atomic again, another great save out of him. Still midfield, still more pressure. Exotic though, that whiff gonna slow things down monumentally for KCorp. They're gonna have to give up some space. Oh, Atomic, can he get it? Yes! Atomic comes alive! G2 in the lead!
They don't often lose series where he's the leading scorer. He's always setting his teammates up, but tonight, G2 needs him to do a lot more of that. Just past the halfway mark, G2 reclaims the lead. And JNaps just ahead of Itachi there. You gotta feel like they've got to open up a multi-goal lead just to feel like they have a chance mentally. Vatira dumping another in. He'll chase it himself and retreat as Atomic took control. Now to the backboard, again denied. And G2 weather this storm off the kickoff.
What can KCorp do with these 2 minutes? They're gonna try to muster up something. Vatira is up quick. Oh, Chicago got that touch out. Definitely needed there on the side of G2. And now it's JNaps setting things up. Chicago puts this one up into the air, but Vatira's just so fast, forcing G2 to take this ball from their own back wall.
JNaps will bring this all the way to ground. He didn't burn any boost unnecessarily. Still weaving his way through. Follow up now from Atomic. Line up the double. Bang, bang!
Flicks on him, Atomic! What did I say? Hand down,
man down. 3-1 to G2. Still just under 90 seconds remain. Not out of the woods just yet. Prospects though of Tokyo looking better with that save by Atomic. G2 fans' hearts skipped a beat for sure. And here comes JNaps taking his time. Not in any hurry to give this ball back to KCorp.
Oh, good breakaway here too for G2. Atomic gonna try to force this one through as we approach the final minute. Can KCorp rally here late? We know for both these teams, down but not out is the case. Atomic though a great stop out. You see Vatira lingering on that side while wants to get involved but has to go back. Doesn't have the boost, does now, and has the ball. What is Vatira gonna do? Looking for the bump on Chicago, trying to create some space here for KCorp, but they just don't have the boost. They've got to retreat.
It has been enough to let Exotic and Itachi try to beat G2, but now Vatira's got to get involved. 30 seconds remain. Opportunity, Exotic. Feed Vatira, because why not? Got the demo, and still JNaps comes in to save the day. Loose ball in the wing, and Atomic in the way. Now Itachi with Chicago bearing in, and it's JNaps with the save right at the last. Another opportunity gone by the wayside for KCorp now with 10 seconds left. Itachi denied again by Chicago. This crowd's gonna come to life when this ball touches the ground because G2 has forced a 6th game. Down,
but not out. And you gotta give it up, especially for Atomic. Talk about an impact player, Stack. On the offense, just able to cut through KCorp and really take it to him. Of course, we gotta talk about that play from Chicago. That was his only shot of the game. Things have definitely moved around here. So at the beginning of this series with Chicago, taking about 4 shots a game. This time, they kind of changed up that approach. And now it's up to KCorp to be able to try to see if they can really pick this apart. Only 2 stays on the side of KCorp.
There is one player in particular who was bound and determined to ensure that this was not the final resting place for G2 at the Winter Major, and you just saw him. Atomic, and then more Atomic. And if that wasn't enough, more Atomic. 7-19 in that game. KCorp has taken its time out after Atomic has absolutely gone off. And now the momentum starts to shift a little bit. The pressure shifts as well as KCorp have missed out on cashing in on a closeout opportunity against the most resilient team in the event. I've called them that time and time again, and it's proving to be true here.
KCorp call a timeout. They're trying to make this room quiet. They're trying to shut down the momentum he's got going on. If there's any time to rally, it's right now. Keep that energy up, because we got a big game 6 loading. And if KCorp cannot figure it out right here, who knows what will happen if we go to Champions Field?
You know why I know that that's not gonna happen? This place is definitely not gonna get quiet. There's a whole bunch of people to my left over here standing by the ramp that are gonna get real loud in a moment. There are a bunch of people behind us that are about to get real loud. Then a whole bunch of people down towards the rest of DreamHack that are gonna make a lot of noise, and all the way across on the other side of the stage. They finally have something to cheer about now, with G2 starting to rally, trying to punch their ticket into Championship Sunday.
You can't get overconfident, because you know exactly the consistent level that KCorp can play on. We've seen, again, that man on the screen, Exotic, show up and really set the tone in certain games. Here we go.
Bob's Ramen presents Game 6 from Neo Tokyo. Oh, Itachi given some free rein there, but he couldn't get up to follow that up, and that's a big break for G2 very early on here. Remember, G2 took a win, their first in the series after they called their timeout, and KCorp looking to do the same to close it out. Vati's come alive again.
And the boss battle starts. Vatira trying to end it here. Beautiful, perfectly placed shot just under the bar. And G2 against the clock, 4:46 left for them. They got to equalize to stay in it.
Once again, a goal in the first minute, and when KCorp scores first, you've heard this stat multiple times, they're 54-3, and then after that clown fiesta, they get another.
Vatira opened things up, and it's just a little bit of miscommunication, a little bit of a backflip there. You can't afford to make these mistakes, not on this stage.
Only 23 seconds gone by, and Chicago will force Itachi away. He's got Exotic in the way, he's got Vatira in the way, and the final boss comes through yet again for KCorp. Here goes JNaps, right at Exotic. Not gonna get by him that easily. Gotta be a lot more creative, and G2's gotta go deep into the bag of tricks very early on here at Neo Tokyo. Big save up top as well, just as important as the initial stop. Now Vatira lob another in, and Exotic is already there. So too is the G2 defense.
G2 slowed things down, at least eliminated a lot of the pressure that KCorp was throwing at them. But now they've got to change that and turn it around. And everyone's going to keep looking at that clock, because until they get on the board, they're racing against it. Oh, and almost another chance there. Exotic plays that. That's a high ball. Itachi trying to line up a shot, but it's sent to Chicago for the save.
Oh, Itachi's going to want that one back. If he'd gotten to that just a little bit quicker, no way Chicago could have made the save. Here goes JNaps.
Oh, JNaps got a
run
ball.
again, interference.
Oh!
Chicago denied by Exotic. What a save!
G2 had everything lined up, but it just wasn't enough. JNaps trying for the fake challenge. He's got to go all the way back. Does get a dip on Vatira, but he won't be able to continue on with this play. He's got to get boosted up. G2, though, starting to really show some offensive life.
It's certainly a viable strategy to let a team overextend and try and get them on the counterattack. The problem is there's no incentive for KCorp to do that. With a 2-goal lead, now G2 has to be even more vigilant on the attack. Vatira easily around one. Boy, JNAPS and Atomic were kind of in the same place at the same time. They finally dispersed, and Chicago comes up empty-handed. Now Atomic bringing one right back in. Exotics all over it. His defense, as we've seen already in this game, has been stellar tonight.
Halfway through this game, Vatira putting one on target, and before Atomic into that corner, G2 trying to bring this upfield. KCorp are totally comfortable playing that midfield game. They got a good cushion on them, and they're going to want to keep that moving forward. They are not trying to let G2 in. G2 have only gotten one shot recorded this game.
Coming out of this timeout, KCorp has achieved exactly what it wanted to do. Get those early goals and silence the G2 army. Vatira from the corner got the read, but there is Reed himself. Now Exotic has options. Going for interference, finding none. JNAPS, Chicago well wide, and no follow-up again, Vatira. Boy, those opportunities are not going to present themselves often. You've got to be better than that.
And they've got to get the ball up there too. They finally got another one, but even then, that one wasn't on target. G2 making off-ball plays, trying to throw off KCorp, slow down their press as the race against the clock continues. 3 or so minutes have gone by since the last time KCorp scored, and we have had nothing on the side of G2. That final minute's gonna flash in front of the screen, and it's gonna make it all come to a reality here very soon. G2 got to get to work here, otherwise we will see them exit to Winter Major.
KCorp fans starting to feel it now. 50 seconds remain. Vatira clear to the backboard, and Atomic kept that out just barely. Still life for the North American squad. Chicago up ahead to nobody in particular, and no surprise, it comes right back in. JNAPS got to do a lot with not much to work with, and Itachi with the save. Crowd was starting to rise and then put right back in their seats. Down to 25 seconds now. JNAPS met by Vatira. Got to get one with, you got to feel like maybe 6 or 7 seconds left at least to give themselves a real shot. And this clearance may do it. It's Vatira with JNAPS in the corner. No time remains as the final countdown ticks down for G2. It's the blue wall. KCorp on to Championship Sunday.
KCorp take it in 6. The blue wall seems impenetrable at this point. They have fought, they have battled, and they have earned their spot in the semifinals. The threat still remains as no one has been able to take this team down.
4 months ago, which feels like oh so long ago at this point, KCorp exited right at this point in the quarterfinals. Now they move on to the semis. They will play tomorrow after a brilliant performance early on in this series. They built up enough of a lead that G2 just could not dig themselves out. Led, of course, not just by Vatira. This was a showcase for Exotic and Itachi, the 2 players who I've said time and time again improved their stock the most at last year's World Championship, and now keeping them on this roster pays many, many dividends for KCorp.
It was such a fantastic showing from Exotic and Itachi as well. I mean, being able to see them step up and make plays left and right, even control entire games, was something amazing. KCorp is amazing, and they are moving on to the semifinal stacks. I mean, they look like they could take this entire event.
Now, one last look at the Mobile One High Performance replay, and we can absolutely appreciate this performance out of KCorp. They take down G2. They move on to Championship Sunday. And Subi standing by with Itachi on the stage.
Thank you, my good friend Stax. I'm sitting up here with Itachi. And right out of the gates, that's the first time you guys have ever played G2 Esports. What are your thoughts after playing them on the pitch for the first time?
G2 is a really good team. Like, even when we scream them, we know that they're really good, so we knew it would be a difficult series, but yeah, they're a pretty good team.
Yeah, they put up a heck of a fight, and it gave you guys a little bit of a scare. It looked like they were coming for you guys' throats there in Game 6. The comeback was alive and well. This place was rocking for G2, but then you really slowed it down. How did you guys seem to come out of that timeout and keep your head on your shoulders?
Yeah, we took that timeout because we lost that game and we wanted to cut their momentum as well. And so we could talk about what we did wrong because like there was a bit of precipitation and we're going too fast. So we just talked about it and it was fun, we controlled it.
Now in Game 4, you guys had a massive lead. It looked like you guys were playing free play out there. You started having a lot of fun. I saw you guys kind of joking around, and then that's when G2, the next game, got that win. Did you guys kind of have to settle down and realize that, oh, this series isn't over yet, G2's still a really dangerous team?
Well, yeah, for sure. Like, we know that the series is never over until the ball is getting down at the end. So we knew whatever happens, like, we just need to keep going, and to finish them, we need to keep going because they can come back at any time.
Now, earlier in the season, while we were on regionals, we were playing online, and I asked you about your teammate Exotic, and you had some great words to say. But you also have a teammate who's the nuclear option in Vatira. How nice is it to have that guy, especially at this major? He's leading in a ton of statistical categories. You guys are heading into the semis, and you know you've got that up your sleeve.
Yeah, for sure. Like, my teammates are incredible. Vashira is, everyone knows it, he's excellently good. Exotic as well. And of course, they're doing a really good tournament, and as a team, we play really well, and I'm really happy to be with them. We're having a lot of fun since we're teaming together, and it's just so cool to be with them.
I mean, it's super cool to watch as well. You guys have some creative plays. It's always exciting, but you're 2 series away from holding a trophy on this very stage, but you have to get past Team Liquid. How are you guys gonna attain that?
We know Liquid is a really good team. We play them a lot in the regionals, but we're really confident as always. We think we're going to beat them, and yeah, let's see tomorrow.
Well, I appreciate the time. I hope you get some rest for tomorrow because Championship Sunday is going to be insane. And for all of the action today, we're going to go back up to the desk to wrap it all up.